I have 13 days left to finish this collection of paintings. So far I've completed 3 out of my planned 6 to 8 paintings, which I technically have until the 31st of May to complete, but that doesn't account for drying times or anything, considering I'm using oils. So really, it's more like I have a week left. I have 7 days, something like that. For some context, at my local art center, there is a gallery space that is available to rent for 2 weeks at a time. So either between the 1st and 15th of a month, or 15th to 30 or 31st of a month. I've been wanting to display my work and my face a bit more in the community, so I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to do that, seeing as I do have quite a few paintings laying around at this point. And of course, any sales mean I make some extra cash, which is always nice. Now, I've finally confirmed that I'll be leaving for Australia late next month, which is exciting. And I do want to put up my work before I leave, just so that I can, I guess, empty out a bit of stock that I just have on hand, because there's a lot at this point. And again, to make some extra cash, so I don't feel so stressed about money in Australia. As you can see, there is a bit of a theme with these pieces that I'm creating. My Takapuna beach painting was sort of the inspiration for the rest of these. I painted it mid last year and it has gotten so many compliments, and it's one of my larger pieces. So I wanted to make some more paintings that would match the theme of it. I also already have a little plein air that I did at Goat Island. So because of these two kind of staple paintings that I have right now, I decided to stick to a beach theme. In the video before last, you would have seen me painting the Mairangi Bay sunset scene as well, which would be the first Mairangi beach addition to this little collection that I'm making. And I think I'm planning on having at least 3 that are a bit more local, specifically Mairangi Bay, which is where the art center is. So let's talk about the painting on screen at the moment. It's referenced from a photo that I took in Arai on the beach there. It was a warm, very crisp day. We had driven for about an hour to visit my boyfriend's relatives, and they took us to this gorgeous little beach with perfectly white sand, the most beautiful sand dunes around it, and it was this sort of cloudy but still bright day, and it just filled me with so much inspiration. And I felt so inspired, which usually does happen at the beach. I don't know, it's just one of those places that makes me feel like I want to create and want to put more into this world. But even more so on this day, because I had a canvas waiting for me at home. So I knew my dimensions and I pretty much knew exactly what I wanted to do with this. Unfortunately, but fortunately, this canvas that I had in mind is the one I ended up using for my Frank painting. So I kept this reference in the back of my mind and ended up using it here. As you can see in this first session, I was left with still quite a yellow painting, as my underpainting was still wet and the color that I had used to tone my canvas was yellow, so everything was kind of peeking through with that warmer tone. And because of that, that's where I decided to end that day's session. To end that day off, I did prime another 2 A4 panels just so that I would have them prepared for the next session. Next session, I picked up where I left off and I finished this piece. So with the Arai painting, I found it a lot easier than that sunset painting that I was working on. I think it's probably because the waves are a bit more clear and not sort of subjective. I just felt like in the sunset painting it was so hard to distinguish where waves and water and crashing waves and everything was supposed to meet, and I just really struggled with that. But with this painting, I found the distinctions between the land and the sea and the sand was a nice clear break, and it just made it easier for my brain to understand. I did revisit the colors in the background land quite a lot. At first I think I was pushing them too green, and then by the end of it was too much of a bright blue and too teal, but I think I've landed on something that I like. It's a bit more saturated than the actual photo, but I think it helps with the contrast of the land in front with the really cool tones in the back, and then the much warmer greens in the front with some of that yellow still poking through. So my current loose plan for layout in this gallery space There's an L-shaped space to hang, and I'm thinking of doing one wall for these landscapes, whether that be the smaller or larger wall, I haven't quite figured out yet, and the other one for portraits and still life. Some stuff for sale, but most of it promotional visuals just for commissions and sort of as a physical portfolio to actually see what my work looks like in real life. And as well as these paintings, I will be doing some extra stuff for commission promotion, which I'll be showing in the next video that I have some ideas for and I'm pretty excited for, but I don't want to reveal too much at the moment. Now, my next painting on this day was to give myself a bit of a break from the constant beach and landscape paintings. I had dragon and damselflies on the mind, and I wanted to just be very loose and expressive as a change from my, I think, pretty rigid thinking with these landscapes, because I wanted them to be more on the realistic side while still having, you know, the artistic expression. But with this damselfly piece, I really just let loose because I just wanted to do something for me. At first, I wasn't totally sure how I wanted to treat it. I knew I wanted the background to be really expressive and not very detailed at all, and then just have all the focus on the damselfly, which is a sapphire rockmaster damselfly, by the way. Yeah, but by the end of what I was considering to be the end of the painting process, I realized that there was not nearly enough contrast between the damselfly and the background. So it was just kind of becoming quite hard to see and hard to make out, and my blues just were not popping as much as I wanted them to. It was just a whole thing. So I decided to lighten up the background, but that did bring some more detail in. Now, I ended up loving this piece so much that I did feel inspired enough to move on to another painting. Although this was meant just for me, I think I may include it in the showcase as well. I'm not decided if I want to sell it yet. I do kind of love it, but maybe I will just take a photo of it and make myself some prints. But I do really, really like it. So as I said, I then continued on to do another piece. The day before this, we went out and we were getting some B-roll, some photos, and playing some pickleball in our local field. And I got this one shot, which is my current reference here. I just love the colors and the lines that were created by the grass, the water, and the sand and sky, horizon, everything. It's just very parallel. And even with as much realism or as little realism, I feel like it's communicated really easily what the scene actually is because of the very clear separation between all the elements. And as I mentioned earlier, I did want to depict more of my local beach because, I mean, obviously I'm displaying my work at the Mairangi Bay Art Center, so I figured I may as well do some Mairangi Bay paintings. So it tied in perfectly. Continue. I just want to give a quick shout out to Estelle and Hannah, my current Patreon and Mail Club members. Thank you so much for your continued support. Next week and next video, I'll be finishing all these paintings and some more, which means I have quite a bit of work cut out for me. I don't know if you can see back here, but I've got to finish this one here. I've got another one primed there, and I have a few more canvases back there, which I'm thinking of doing as well, but that's a maybe. I'll be making that promotional content for the display. I'll be actually booking in my spot to confirm my participation, I guess. I don't know how to say that. And I'll be showing setting up and the opening day. Thanks for watching.